Hi and welcome back everyone. We're now on week 2 of our primary school athletics scheme of work. We have 2 new games, one for the javelin, one for the chest push, technical information to help your children succeed, and a structured competitive event for either assessing for learning or building towards your sports day. We're on week 2, so let's look at our 2 throwing events, starting with the warm-up game. Oh, and when you get a moment, let me know which game you preferred in the comments. So let's throw ourselves into the first event, the javelin. To ensure the safety of the children are going to use foam javelins, and you're going to lay out 2 lines. This is going to serve as the throwing area. Children are going to hold their javelin tip down, but once they get into the throwing area, they're then going to turn it at 45 degrees. The challenge here is for children to throw their javelin trying to get as close to the ball as possible. Once they've had their go, they're then going to circle back round to the start, and the other children are going to come forward with the tip facing down into the throwing zone before they change to 45 degrees and then make their throw. Children make 1 throw each, and the team with their javelin closest to the ball is crowned as the winner. Feel free to experiment and add in some extra ideas such as a target zone, and now the children with the highest score end up as the winner. Now let's look at the key technical points to help the children throw further. Children are going to have their lead hand pointing up at 45 degrees with their back hand straight holding the javelin. The weight should be on the back foot and they should be stood sideways on. Here we see the right hip rotate to the front as we take a step forwards. The back hand pulls the javelin through as the front hand moves backwards. Children should maintain the rotation of the hips, and now all the weight should be on the front half of the body. The javelin's above the head at 45 degrees preparing for release. Finally, we release the javelin and follow through with our arm. You can raise the back foot here to maintain your balance. You can impart this technical information during the warm-up game and encourage children to experiment with different trajectories as we move into our sports day event. Children are going to get into teams of 3 with a similar setup before, a throwing zone. 2 children are going to throw the javelin, and you're going to have 1 person measuring. As before, the first person throws their javelin, safely makes their way to the back of the queue before the second person then throws their javelin. And now it's time to measure the throws. The measure is going to move forwards towards the javelin but not straight on. Both ends of the javelin can be quite sharp, and all it takes is a trip to spell disaster. For this reason, we're going to slowly walk around the javelins. Even though they're foam ones, it's important to get into good habits early on. From here we can measure the javelin back to the start line and then call out and record the scores. Make sure you change over so that everyone gets a throw and everyone gets a chance to be the measurer. And now let's look at our second event, the chest push. In this warm-up game, children are going to play a 2 versus 2 and each start with their own area. The aim of the game is to throw the ball so that it bounces twice in their opponent's box. If you do this, you score a point for your team. It's now the opponent's turn. They're going to throw the ball, and it's obviously your job to stop the ball bouncing twice. You can do this by moving forward and catching the ball. And the final rule of the game is the first and second bounce must land in the box. If this doesn't happen, then the opponents score. Before we move on to the actual sports day event, let's have a quick look at the key technical information to help your children throw further. Ask children to hold the ball with the palm of their hands, thumbs facing down, and hold the ball between their chest and their chin. They're going to adopt a split stance and have their body weight leaning backwards. They're then going to step forwards, straighten their legs, straighten their arms at 45 degrees to release the ball so that it soars through the air. Again, we can share this technical information with the children and allow them to practice it during the warm-up game. During the event phase, children are going to have a throwing line, but this time the measurers don't need to stand behind it. It's only a ball, it's not going to cause much damage. The measurers are going to start with a cone in their hand, and as the ball is thrown, move around so that they can use the cone to place mark where the ball landed. From here, they're going to measure and then record the scores. Like the first game, this can easily be played as a whole class, leaving you free to impart the technical information and help the children. Thank you for watching everybody. I hope that you found week 2 useful. If you did, then please like and then share the video with anybody else that you feel would benefit from it. And as always, remember to subscribe so that you can catch next week's video. I'll see you all then.